Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to Stepiphenie's Wake. I'm Steph, and this is a timeless reading for the sign of Sagittarius. But if you find yourself here because of the image or title, I believe there are messages for you too. On this channel, we honor three things above all else. 1. Nothing is coincidence. Everything that happens in the reading is part of the reading. 2. Energy is wild. I will deliver the messages I get, and no topic is off limits. And 3. Love always wins. I'm here to change the world one conversation at a time, and my main aim is to move whoever is watching forward in a positive direction for the highest good of all. If the energies or roles I'm speaking about are reversed in your story, feel free to flip them for yourself as necessary to suit your situation. Don't force the reading to fit. If the story isn't yours, don't make it so unless that's how you intend for your life to go. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment if this resonates with you, and if you feel aligned with my vibe and ever-growing tribe, I invite you to subscribe, and I send a huge thank you to all that do. Additional information and details to connect with me for a personal reading or to donate to the channel are in the description box below. So, Sagittarius, let's get into your channeled messages. The title of your reading is Falling Faces. And the first thing I saw was in the show Arrested Development. There's a particular episode where Tobias is, he's always trying to be an aspiring actor, but he does something and he goes, "end scene," and he takes a bow. And then after that, I saw Drama Masks. So there's something about comedy and tragedy and those things kind of being tied together. There's something about April 3rd of this year, 2025. New York City might be important to you, but also look back on all April 3rds if you have, a camera roll, notes, emails, whatever. See what was happening April 3rd. And that might give you some insight into the situation. But after that, it got into this very mythical kind of imagery of Pegasus and the Titans and Hercules, and I'm not really sure if they were working together or what the significance is, but something about Pegasus, Titans, I know it's a football team, maybe you're a Tennessee Titans fan, and Hercules. And every time I hear Hercules, I think of the Nutty Professor, where or the Klumps. I think it's the Klumps, where they're all sitting around, and there's this kid, and he's eating all of this fried chicken or something, and the mom's just clapping her hands, going, "My baby's number one, my baby's number one." So take that as it resonates. The next thing, building off the comedy tragedy, there's a specific genre called a Roman porno. I don't know if I can say that word, whatever. But the whole premise of that is that it's comedy, tragedy, intimate scene. Comedy, tragedy, intimate scene, and that's this idea of the Roman, genre. But there's also this movie called Mysterious Skin. It was made forever ago, and it has Jason or Justin Gordon-Levitt. I'm not sure of his name. If you know it, comment below. But it covers a really interesting and heavy topic. But that's where I learned about this term of the Roman porno, which I think is kind of funny. After that, I got an image of Pac Man. I heard it's okay to not be okay. So maybe you're really struggling something, just kind of going through the maze, and I think of Pac Man. He's going through the maze, literally just picking up the pieces or eating up the pieces of what he's supposed to be doing. I know I got something about makeup. And to me, makeup always makes me think of the Queen of Cups. And the whole thing about the Queen of Cups, there's a lot to her, trust me. But for me as a reader, I always think of her as somebody whose beauty can be washed away. So maybe there's also something about time slipping away, or time getting away from you. I'm not sure how those two things are linked, but that was the next note I got. And back to this Queen of Cups whose beauty can be washed away, that might be something to do with this falling faces. And right before I started your reading, lastly, right before I started your reading, I was getting this song. It's called Magnets by Disclosure and Lorde, but it was the line that just kept coming through was "let's embrace the point of no return" over and over and over again. And the line, or what that means, is to fully commit to a course of action, accepting that there's no possibility of turning back, even if it means facing significant risks or negative consequences. It implies moving past a critical threshold where returning to a previous state is either physically impossible, too costly, or too difficult, and instead choosing to move forward with the current path. So there's something significant, like you are leaving something big behind. I don't know what it is. Maybe you do. Maybe you're just not wearing a mask anymore. Maybe that's what you're doing away with. Maybe, makeup is all of this like artificial kind of, to be all done up. Maybe you are just going on natural. You're doing this thing where you're just being you unapologetically, and that's what it is. So let's get into your reading, Falling Faces. Um, that also kind of reminds me of like when someone has a smile on and then they immediately go into a frowny face. That's kind of like a fall. But if you don't know, I have my own system, my own tools that I like to use. And we're going to roll dice to get an overall theme of your reading. Oh, wow. The number 202 in my deck, that's intuition. Intuition. We're only going to do 2 shuffles. So before I do that, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, I call you in and ask for your assistance in delivering messages for the Sagittarius community and all those that are watching. I ask for only the guides and beings, entities of the highest white light to come in and assist me and to help whoever we are working with to move forward in the most positive direction for them and for the highest good of all. Archangel Michael, I call you in and ask that you continue to protect me in these practices and prevent anybody who wishes to cloud my judgment or inhibit my downloads and connection to the divine. And so it is. One. I feel like there needed to be more to that. Something's left undone. All right, there's 2 shuffles. That's interesting. Only 2. Divine commitment. Commitment to the divine. All right, so we're going to do my what's powering, what's changing, what's blocking, what's coming to light, and what's coming to balance. We already have a flipper. So what is powering the situation? Fate, an ending of intolerance, um, so do you know how sometimes in Waiting, the movie specifically Waiting, it's like this girl, she had, her true personality was masked by waitress mode. I very much feel like somebody is letting that fall. Maybe somebody's always like this really, really nice, sweet, caring person, and finally they're, realizing that they just get kind of, taken advantage of by a bunch of people, and it's not getting them any closer to where they want to be or where they need to be going, and they're just doing away with it. The song "No More Mr. Nice Guy" by Alice Cooper. I know that song is also in oh, what's that movie? Dazed and Confused. So that might be important to you. Dazed and Confused. I've been dazed and confused for so long, it's not true. All right, Led Zeppelin. Okay, what's changing in this situation? Mania, the Knight of Swords, and the Hater of Humankind. Ooh. I think somebody's, finally realizing that they get what they give. And we're always teaching people to how to treat us. And I think that in this particular case, somebody is realizing, like, okay, if I let people walk all over me, they're going to. So I need to put my foot down. And the thing about a nice person putting their foot down is that it's almost amplified because everybody who's dealt with this person knows them to be this sweet, caring, kind individual. And so when you finally step into your, HBIC mode, um, it's even more so they're like, whoa, you've never been like that before. And because you're, what everybody else could do normally, because it's so out of character for you, it may hit other people harder and people may be more offended to it. And I'm guided right now to remind you of the 4 agreements where 1, take nothing personally, 2, always try your best, 3, always speak your truth, and 4, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. And I think it's the first time in a long while I've been able to rattle all 4 of them. Usually I forget at least one. All right, what's blocking this situation for falling faces in Sagittarius' world? Polarity with diligence. Oh, you're only doing it sometimes. It's like, you're not fully into that mode, but you might be. Um, I just imagine somebody whose mask fell off and they caught it and put it back on. Yeah, you're not completely there. You still have a conscience about it. You're still like, oh, but if I do that, that's mean. Okay, so what? It's mean. You got to cut something out of your life, do it. It's coming to light. Gluttony. The King of Pentacles and your highest self. Now, in a love reading or something like that, this could mean the other person, your divine masculine, your divine feminine. I do believe in, that kind of destined, fated partnerships. I don't know. We'll get into that in another one. I may have some twin flame readings from when I first started, but I don't do those much anymore. But in this deck, as it's going to pertain, this is your highest self. Your highest self is different than your best self, your favorite self, and your truest self. Gluttony, though, allowing you to really invest in what does serve your highest self. And it's not giving to a bunch of different people that are just taking from you. Energy vampires. I'm getting a lot of energy vampires. What's coming to light? Or excuse me, what's coming to balance? What's coming to balance in this situation? Then we're going to clarify with another deck. Perspective. The hangman with DMDF on the bottom again. Yeah, I'm hearing the word eradicate. Eradicating what isn't for you. I see 10 and 30 in Lenormand, so I'm going to look those up really quick. Lenormand works kind of like an equation. So 10 plus 30 is, oh no, that's, wow, wrong one. That was 3. And so that actually, because again, I don't believe in coincidence, that was the ship plus the lily. And that resulted in the sun or the zodiac sign, which is interesting. Maybe sailing for the sun, sailing for the light side of yourself, this balance. But 10 is the scythe, and 30, contentment after shocks. Interesting. Contentment after shocks. Yeah, put your foot down. I know what deck I'm going to use. And it's because of all the mythical things. This is the Celestial Tarot. I think it's a beautiful deck. There's a lot of myth to it, so this might be a little bit longer of a reading because some of the books I might be, or some of the explanations in the book I might be nudged to read, and I totally will because there's so much in this that there's no way I could remember it all, even though in my heart I want to. Um, but it's okay to admit, just like somebody else may be a different mass, somebody else may be trying to be or do it all. But remember that we have references in the world at our fingertips for a reason. It's not meant to be in your mind all the time. The other thing on that, or building on that, is that the smartest people in the world don't necessarily know how to do everything, they know who to ask. Hearing free shuffles for this. So that's something. You don't need to own everything yourself. You just need to know who to ask. And trust who you're asking. Don't go to, this was a message in somebody else's reading, I'll link it. Don't go to somebody for, or don't take someone's criticism if you wouldn't go to them for advice. That's important. And I don't remember whose reading that was in, but that one might be important for you as well. It might be the Gemini reading. I don't know. I'll link it below. But that might that reading might have some messages for you. Okay. So, clarify what's powering the situation. What is coming to an end? Fate. The Six of Wands, Corvus, with Hydra on the bottom, the Four of Wands. Corvus the Crow. I'm pretty sure Corvus the Crow was sent to, he's like put up there with a cup of, like Apollo's cup, because he was sent to do something with it. Just gonna get the gist of it. Ooh, he works with Hydra, actually. Corvus the Crow, along with Hydra and Crater, form a trinity of constellations linked together throughout antiquity. In this tarot, they are associated through the rulership of the 3 deacons of Leo, the stages of a heroic quest. Sacred to Apollo, the raven was a messenger of the gods and signified prophecy. Corvus heralds news of advancement or recognition as the quest, the creative project, or the job has reached its conscious goal. Crows are also known as negative tricksters, therefore, Corvus cautions us against false praise and envy that often accompanies victory. So something is coming to an end, and don't let it go to your head. There's success in it, but I like that Hydra was coming out too, and Hydra's on the bottom. So because of that, we're going to read about Hydra as well. And the Four of Wands is usually a very positive card. And something is just split. Hydra. Slithering across 1/4 of the night sky is Hydra, the largest constellation identified by a primeval water snake. In Greek myth, Hercules destroyed the nine-headed serpentine monster, nine-headed, nine different faces, um, after a long battle personifying the heroic impulse that successfully battles the dragon of fear and doubt. The card is linked with the first deacon of Leo, thematic of the courage and determination necessary to express the self. The card reveals celebration and gratitude for accomplishing the labor, however, also implies that this phase of endeavor has ended and the future will call the individual to continue self exploration. Yeah, I think that you've done away with all that you aren't, and now you're embracing what you actually are, who you are, what you're about. This is part of your divine self. It's hard to do this. All right, clarify mania. Hydra on the bottom again with the Prince of Pentacles, mutable earth. So that's a Virgo, card of Virgo. Something that has taken a long time, a realization. And I love that he's looking up at like this divine angelic being. This very strong winged female who knows what she's doing, knows what she's about. Yeah, clarity on who you are. So what's blocking the situation? The point of no return. You're not either. So just move forward into it. Be the bitch. I'm sorry, I don't like that word. I know I'm gonna have to say this isn't made for kids anymore, but I don't think any of these really are. That's too many. But all right, clarify polarity. What's blocking the situation? There we go. Jupiter, the wheel of fortune, and Gemini, the lovers. Oh, there's a way to be both. So just as the pendulum swings, you think being nice is here and being mean is here. And setting the spectrum is one thing. Maybe you've set your spectrum and now you realize, you've got to kind of level it out a little bit. You've got to balance and work, find a way to do both the kind things and the aggressive things. And those might not be the best ways, but that's how I'm going to categorize them. But look at that, the Queen of Cups on the bottom. The tarot or the title right behind that. Sagittarius, that's you. Hi. Playful. There's a playful way to do it. There's always a way to speak the truth in a kind and gentle way. There's always a way to speak the truth. What's coming to light? Tell me about this, excuse me, gluttony. The Ten of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Wow, this beautiful fountain. This beautiful overflow. This is water in general. I think that this has to do with kind of knowing what how your emotions, what emotions fuel your actions in the ways that they're supposed to. We have all water signs. You may have a lot of water in your chart. You may be dealing with a water sign. You may be getting clarity on this water sign. Maybe dealing with a Libra. Crucis, the sword. All right, what's coming to balance? Tell me about this perspective. It's too many, but we're going to look at them. The moon is on the bottom. So the Seven of Swords, the Chariot, Four of Pentacles, Two of Cups, and the Magician. You can be both. Both things can be true. You can be both what you need to be in different situations. Read the room. I'm hearing read the room. This is a very nurturing card again, some movement in the background. And this looks kind of like, excuse me, this looks kind of like Hydra, except now it has one clear head. One clear head that it can move forward with, because the Two of Wands is all about, foresight and planning ahead and making choices, moving past the point of no return. change. Change. There's a change you want to make. Change. Change into a better version of you. Change. It's okay. All right, let me get one more card. That's too many. One more card for who to read about. We're going to read one more from the book to get a final message. I believe Spirit knows exactly what you need to hear. And sometimes these messages are just as much for you as they are for me. One more to read. We get two. The star, Aquarius and Perseus. So we're going to read them both. Let's see what we got here. Star came out first. So, Aquarius. Maybe you have Aquarius somewhere in your chart. To the ancients, Aquarius was the power of flowing, often flooding water. The star represents both strands of Aquarius. It heralds a revolutionary new way of being after a period of turmoil or suppression, and it also representative of a wellspring of hope and renewal. Aquarius's innovative and creative new vision pours forth like manna from heaven, a welcome downpour after the disruption and chaos of the tower. In celestial tarot, Hebe pours the invigorating waters recycled from the abundant springs of life over mankind. She symbolizes renewal, hope, bright prospects, inspiration, and spiritual guidance. The star is the light of the higher self, and it is Hebe, the heroic anima, who illustrates inner darkness and heralds the dawn of hope and a hope-filled future. Hope-filled future. You're on the right path. You're doing the right things. Whatever this is, there's a necessary change. All right, Perseus, the Three of Wands, comes right after the Two of Wands, which was on the bottom. Cetus. The Three of Wands. All right. Perseus personifies courage and heroism. With Athena and Hermes' guidance, he severed the head of the Gorgon Medusa, and he holds in his right hand. In his left is the unbreakable sword. The Three of Wands is ablaze with the fiery spirit of the hero who has accomplished his labor. Surrounded by the gods' gifts, Perseus feels satisfied and fulfilled. Having accomplished his initial intention, there is confidence and enthusiasm to pursue over other adventures and opportunities. This card augurs a new course of action and the instigation of new plans in the world, either through career, creativity, study, or travel. So we have the 2, 3, and 4 of Wands out. This is a very, very progressive and positive reading. Whatever change you're looking to make, whatever as above, so below, again, there's this, very Queen of Wands, or excuse me, Queen of Cups energy. This idea of embodying and being both, the light and the dark, the kind and the stern. Embracing both these roles for yourself in this life that you're living. You've started, and now just step into it fully. And don't let other people bring you backwards. Just because you've always been one way doesn't mean you have to be that way. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. And I don't think you'll like what you've been served. So, Sagittarius, that's all I got for you. Let your mask fall off and just be the real you. The world needs it. Until next time.